Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers. The Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwalas. He heads marketing for the Indian arm of a global investment firm headquartered in South Korea. Shrinivas Khanolkar, Head Digital, Marketing and Corporate Communications at Mirae Asset Investment Managers, India. A seasoned marketing and strategy leader with over 2 decades of experience across financial services, including mutual funds and insurance, he has been with Mirae for over 17 years, working across various departments like sales, business development, marketing and product development. Shrinivas has played a pivotal role in building Mirae Asset's brand presence in India. He is our Brandwala. Hello and welcome. You're watching the Brandwalas. I'm Krishnakumar and we're in conversation with Mr. Shrinivas Khanolkar, Head of Digital Marketing Business and Corporate Communication at Mirae Asset Investment Managers. Shrinivas, thank you so much for being with us here on the Brandwalas. I'm going to begin by asking you a very simple question. How do you market an asset management company?
But thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah.
It's an interesting subject, and how do you market an AMC? I think for asset management business, the most crucial aspects are, if I have to jot it down, is just 3 points. One, it's what are you marketing? Whom are you marketing to? And what do you aspire at the end of it, right? We are marketing financial products. So obviously that is what the consumers are going to buy, the investors are going to buy. They would look at the performance over a period of time. It's not going to happen immediately. So as you get into the 10th year, then marketing an AMC is much easier as compared to first year. But if you have to start an asset management business today and you have to market it, I think you need to first convey what your company stands for, what your ethos stands for, and how trustworthy do you really appear, right? And that has to resonate. So your campaign has to be around that. And I think people will see that through. And trust is only built over a period of time.
Okay.
But you need to market how trustworthy you are.
Okay, so trust is the most important factor in your communication strategy. And keeping that in mind, can you talk to us about some of the campaigns that you worked on, and possibly what, according to you, is the best campaign that you've worked on that you think hit the nail in the head?
I'll zero it down to 2.
Okay.
So the first one, so when we in 2022-23, we were thinking about this whole SIP game which was unfolding. Now today, the kind of money which is getting invested in SIPs is pretty large to what it was back then. We wanted to come up with a campaign which resonates with the investors and it connects emotionally with them. Okay, that was the crux. And also for the people who are already doing SIPs, how do they continue? Because 2020 to 22, it was the dialometer, right? It went both ways, right? Now what do we do? So we wanted to bring the concept of SIP, but at the same time give depth and meaning to it. So we came up with a campaign tagline, SIP, if you break it down, basically it's your dreams which you're investing for. And for that, you need to continue and not just stop. So what better than dreams is nothing but in Hindi, it's called Sapna. So we came up with the concept of Sapna in progress.
Oh, SIP.
SIP. That really resonated very well among investors, and it was award-winning campaign at that point of time. And we still continue that tagline, and whoever remembers that campaign very fondly talks about, because it was targeted towards the emotions of the people. And it gave them a meaning. Is one of the investors told me that really I felt like that there's a meaning to this money going into the investment. So that was one. A year back, we wanted to start off educate people about ETFs. It's a new category per se, while the investments have been growing. But we wanted to talk more about ETFs, and we wanted to do it in a very innovative way that people again connect back with us. So we came up with a concept of ABCD ETF. So as easy as ABCDE, but at the same point of time, we took a very different route. We took a route of educating it in children's language, right? So we had 4 or 5 ads made, which ran on a social campaign. Most of these ads were like one of the ad was about one child copying another child in all its actions. So if the child did A, the kid also, the second kid also did the same thing. And basically it conveyed the concept of a ETF tracking an index.
Right? Using human psychology.
And then we had another ad where, kids love to exchange stuff. They like something which you have it and I don't, and then they'll aspire that I want it. So there was an exchange mechanism which happened in that, whether they were eating ice cream or they were toys. So that concept denoted the fact that ETFs actually are easily tradable. You can use it through exchange. That campaign again did very well, and we had around, in fact, some of the aircrafts have that campaign still as a static and a recall value. And sometimes we get people posting and writing about it. So I think these 2 campaigns really, one from a SIP perspective and one from a new category initiative perspective.
Shrinivas, talk to us. At this stage, I'm curious to know, what is your marketing mix like? How much do you spend on traditional forms of advertising, say like print and television, and how much do you end up spending on digital and online?
Well, the print medium has also moved to digital.
Fair enough.
So
what I meant is social media and that kind of digital spend.
Absolutely. See, we asset management business is slightly unique as compared to some other formats of business, or we are not just digital. There are other aspects, there are other channels through which the spends happen, the investments do come in. So we do have to keep a balance, but within that, if I have to give you like an index, like say before COVID, what was the spend, then probably the traditional mediums were up to almost 60%. The same is flipped today.
So now traditional is 40, social media and digital is 60%.
Yes, and socially also, you need to be more organic and then boost that content.
I was about to ask, how much of that of social is performance marketing?
So while we do performance marketing, but we try to spend much more on our own organic. While of course we do paid and collaborations with a lot of people to get our wordings out. But this is a business where you have to communicate what people feel, what people need, and
make them make them sure that they are putting their money in the right place.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the first question, that why are you investing? That cannot be answered by just an advertisement. So that is something which has undergone a huge change, and as we move ahead, everything is getting shorter. I mean, next month is too late, today is too slow. So it is changing. AI is propelling so many things that you need to now start catching up to that and be ahead of that curve, where of course digital play does come into picture. So increasingly, if you ask me, next 2-3 years, where will we go to? Digital spend, social media spends, all of that would actually go towards 70-75%.
Wow. Okay. Tell us then, what according to you is the big buzz as far as the world of branding and advertising and marketing is concerned?
it'd be a cliche response to say artificial intelligence is a buzz while creating content.
No, it's not. I mean,
yeah.
like artificial intelligence is as new as it gets as well. So
No, so recently I was reading a book, and very important to give a context. And the book says "Future of No Work," right? So as things are, you are employing a lot of services, you're employing a lot of genetic AI to do your work, which will actually free up a lot of your time, and that should go to more creative work, right? So the buzzword which is there is how do you use Gen AI to work for your campaigns, yet how do you remain more organic? So while it can help you come up, ChatGPT can help you push a lot of stuff, but that's still generic in nature.
okay.
Right? And that may not work for each individual because each individual's money requirement is very different.
Okay.
So within that, how do you curate content? That is very important.
Okay. What, according to you, is overhyped in the world of advertising and marketing, and hence is actually quite blah?
Yeah. I think everything push and everything digital is overhyped.
Okay.
Because then you have to dissect.
Everything push, I mean, you have push marketing, that is.
Yeah, push marketing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in our field. It may work in a tangible item.
Okay.
From an investment marketing perspective, just pushing everything in the same format everywhere doesn't work. You have to be knowing which platform what works and then curate that content that way. So the same content pushed across multiple places is not working. I think all brands are now understanding that fact, and they are not going like Tom and Hanks everywhere.
Okay.
They are now starting to focus what is most relevant for you and what works on what platform. So this whole thing of hype creating, so it could be a fad for some time, it can grab eyeballs, but post that, if you just keep doing that, people will see through it. If you have solid product at the back end and then you just create an hype for you to get that mindshare, but then propel the product so that people know,
yeah,
that is important.
Okay. Then tell us, how do you plan your social media marketing? How do you leverage social media, the different platforms of social media?
So we are present on most of them.
Yeah.
So earlier, we also went through, it's an understanding cycle, it's an experimental cycle. You go through it where you've created content, you've pushed across, then you figured out, okay, it works on XYZ. Today there are enough reports to tell you what works where, what time you do, how do you do it. For social, we were using a lot of paid earlier, but we've realized that you need to also have your own content. People ultimately are going to come back for that.
Okay.
Right. The moment you drop sort of paid promotions, you'll have the traffic fall. But if you do not have a good organic content, it will not sustain. It will fall straight away. So you need to plan those inventories. You need to plan those push items accordingly. Backed by, so if you have your own campaign, own organic campaign which you've created, you create. Now the new world of reels is how many reels I can make in that video, right? What have I said that it will become the buzzword? So understanding that is also very important. So we are now trying to train our teams that what are you going to say which will become a reel, right? And then you can help push it down the line. So Insta works or YouTube Shorts work very well for just promoting, say, one key concept.
Okay.
Whatever it is, fire or retire early, or whatever you want to say. Key concept promotions will come there. And then your long format is a more conversational, and it has to have depth. The same thing if you repeat is not going to work.
Tell us, how do you use artificial intelligence on a daily basis? How does the marketing efforts of an asset management company use artificial intelligence? What kind of tools do you use?
Yeah. So one thing about artificial intelligence, and let me make it clear, the regulator has a very stringent framework of what you can do and what you cannot do. And if you're using AI, then you need to sort of report on that. Because we don't use AI to look at PI. For one of the reasons why we are not doing it so far is actual PI. You can make a referencing and then look at it. But actual PI, because the cloud storages are still not in India. Some of them have now started doing it. Most of them, if you use a third-party tools. So anybody who's in financial domain, through your medium, I'd like to say that be very careful on this, because PI data you need to store in India, the personal information data. But we are looking at trends, right? So incidentally, we have our own AI team, which is also helping us evaluate data and do some predictive.
Okay.
While we are still in early stages of that, but I can share probably one of the things that we're trying to do is look at, say, the people who have gone out, look at when they went out, what was the tenor, and then predict if there are similar cohorts within the live data.
As in people who opted out of investing in an SIP.
Yes. So probably they've been invested for 4-5 years, 6 years,
suddenly and went out.
And maybe their goal is done, or there can be 1,000 reasons.
Company.
There can be 1,000 reasons, right? Why they've sort of decided to move out. But can we look at the cohort? Can I figure out using data first of all? I mean, AI cannot work without data first. So can the data analyze and tell us that who are these guys? Where did they belong? Did they belong to a certain pin code, certain area, or a certain bank account type, or a certain age group, or an income group?
Yeah.
That all comes up. AI can help us tell that, okay, this is your cohort, and you have another 1,000 customers like this who are now coming to that stage, which they will fall equal to that. When could they go out? And that input strategy then helps us go back and talk to them in a different language, right? This would evolve over a period of time, and it will become much more accurate than what we are today. But yes, in that form, things are happening already.
The other thing I wanted to ask you is, what is that one classic advertisement or marketing campaign or a brand campaign that really stayed with you, that sort of inspires you in what you do today? It can be more than one, but I'm saying any of these the classic campaigns that really struck a chord with you.
I think for me, the foremost campaign which stands out is not so much of how it was advertised, but how it was delivered. And that, of course, became the tagline, and it evolved. It can't get better than the 2007 iPhone launch, right? Because it was not about a phone. It was about telling you what all you have in just one product, right? And I think that has been the efforts of that brand over a period of time, the way they've advertised. I love their IG feed. They don't talk about the products. It's about people who have shot videos, photos, everything. It's a collaboration. It just propels things forward. From our own perspective, if people have to recent times, I think there was a Swiggy campaign where they had the guy starts typing, and suddenly the people run in and take the one of the actress back, and then they stop and say, no, he was typing something wrong. Right? So that was pretty innovative, because the speed, then they were communicating the speed at which the backend works. So these two examples are where one is something which is more product oriented and communicated, one is more from a tech perspective, which have stayed with me. Like that was innovative.
Okay, interesting. I thought you would say something like a mutual fund sahi hai kind of a campaign. You know,
No, of course.
to
Of course.
what
you asked
do.
me my personal choice. Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
See, mutual fund sahi hai is one campaign which of course has completely changed the perspective, and it also brought to fore what is the most important product available to you, more transparent everywhere. We were allowed to use brand ambassadors, which at an AMC level is not allowed.
Yeah.
So mutual fund sahi hai in that way has come up with a lot of initiatives. I think the retirement ad, the risk ad, which was there about what is the risk I must take, I must not take.
Right.
Recently, you had the Rohit's ad, which was more about ups and downs. That it will come back, and I can tell you one thing through your medium is that it had nothing to do with the trophies that we won. Right, the ads were planned much before that, because it was from a cycle perspective. Somebody who has been had a longevity career of that long has seen many ups and downs. So through that medium, can you communicate that life also has it, and so investments also have it. So that way it resonates beautifully.
Okay.
But from a ad concept, see, mutual fund sahi hai ads will always have a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
But from a fun aspect,
fair enough.
They're different.
Okay, fair enough. If I were to ask you, Shrinivas, what is the one thing about your job that you love the most? That is the one thing about your job that you wake up every morning and you love going to work to do it. What would that be?
So, see, marketing job, there's let me first clarify to the audience. There's a difference in advertising and marketing.
Okay, fair enough.
So you get brilliant concepts in advertising, which is, I love. When we go, we have conversations, there are media pitches, there are agency pitches, we have all of that. So that part is really afresh every day, because somebody will come up with something new. There's so many people wanting to work with you, will reach out to you, come with something innovative, design thinking, or even if it's a marketing agency, a digital agency, they will come like, we will use this cohort, it's a fresh angle. That's the most exciting part, because you get to learn every day about something new, which has been thought about, which you probably have not thought through.
So pitch meetings, essentially.
Pitch meeting, agency meeting, team meetings, that's the fun part.
Okay.
And on the marketing side, because I was talking about advertising versus marketing, marketing is about reusability.
Okay.
What you have done, and if it's been successful, how can you call that back with the same format or an altered format, but have that central feeling? I think that is, reusability is critical.
And that's what you love about marketing.
From a P&L perspective, reusability is very, very
Fair point. Shrinivas, what is the one thing then about your job that you don't like at all, that you detest, the one thing that you don't look forward to in your workday?
Appraisal meetings. Just kidding.
No, you don't have to be kidding.
No. So, see, it is finally, it's about money on the table. It has to be spent. It has to be spent judicially. The difficult part of the day is when you have thousands of ideas and all of them are very good. It's then finally coming down to what makes most sense for you right now.
Okay.
Because from a content point of view, there's abundance of content. What is your priority? Letting go of a brilliant idea which could work, but maybe it's not that time right now. I think that is a little, sometimes I feel sad when that pitch is so beautiful, we need to do it, but today's time demands something else. That is something, but it stays back, because at times you will probably want to call it back at some point of time and rework with it. So that is something which is the difficult side of today.
Okay, that's the one thing that you don't look forward to as far as your work is concerned.
But you have to. I mean, there's no escaping that. That's not escaping. And finally, when you're sitting and you're running a team, I think that at our end, you need to also filter out what is most important for the organization, for the campaigns, for the money to be spent, how digitally, and what impacts the brand the most.
Tell us, where do you see marketing headed in the near future? Because the game is being disrupted on a daily basis by artificial intelligence and other new emerging technologies, and of course consumer behavior, which is changing faster than technology, if not as fast as technology. So tell us, what do you think is the road ahead as far as marketing is concerned?
See, it will never go out of the space. We'll always be there. Forms change. At some point of time, digital came up, became big. When social came up, became big. Today, delivery platforms are becoming bigger. How do we communicate to them? The content is changing at ferocious pace. What people are consuming is changing. So there's an evolution which is happening, and we have to live with it. You cannot go back with it. So in the world of AI today, which can actually generate content for you, curate text to image, text to speech, everything can be done.
Generate everything from data to content.
Everything, and probably push it also now. You have genetic AIs which can push it, analyze, and give you reports and all of it. So in a world where somebody writes a 18-page report using Gen AI, somebody else is summarizing it in one page. Right? Today, all the spectrums are open for you. You need to be very, very clear what will work for you, for your product, your industry, and that is the crux. Do we have an absolute answer today? Maybe not. Maybe in some time we will have that absolute answer, what works, what doesn't work. But how do you adapt with it? Because in the world of dystopia and the world of utopia, there are two parts. Utopia is where 50% of my job will be done by AI versus dystopia where 50% of the jobs will be done by AI, right? So if you do not adapt quickly and if you do not have your teams also understanding that adaptation, then we will have a challenge in terms of how many people team it will be, who will be doing what. I think the disruption is rapidly happening at the agency levels because the larger agencies must be facing a lot of where they have a lot of manpower to doing a lot of things, will be facing that issues today because there are smaller units which are coming and giving you much more information using AI technology that you are then compelled to look at that as a solution rather than work with larger organizations. But again, if it's about what are you going to convey in one image, there if you're not able to connect back with the audience, it's not going to work.
All right, fair enough. We'll leave it at that. Shrinivas, Khanolkar, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Brand Wires.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.